All right, now my claim is that the granite is ground up literal flesh of creatures. Now, this is a molded statuary. It was painted red. That's why the red is here. Other than that, there is no blood work in this. It's ground up particles, homogeneous, as I will show you, and how they ground them up. Now, I can virtually guarantee you this is ground up body parts. The white is tendinous and bony materials. The reddish looking stuff is the weak stuff that erodes rusty blood. The black is the vein blood, which turns hard. You know, you see this, some of it's clearish looking, some of it's white. The white, believe it or not, is the tendon, and this stuff is more or less the bony material and some other stuff. But there's no metals in here. That's the only piece of metal in this whole countertop. There's 32 feet worth of counter here. And look at these chunks. You see that? These are chunks. These are little chunks of things. That nothing grows like that. These are chunks of, a butcher would tell you. And I mean, I've had them tell me, yes, absolutely, no question whatsoever, that is ground up meat. A ground up, they make sausage out of things like this. Of course, they don't have the black blood in there because the black blood is the vein blood in animals. They drain most of the blood out of the animals before they grind them all up. So you don't get a lot of excess blood. You certainly don't get a lot of vein black blood because it takes a while for them to harden up into these chunks. But these would have been the little tubes. These are the little tubes that were in the guy's veins. And what happens in veins is different than arteries. Veins have clamps in them, and they clamp off every so often so that the blood can't go backwards. It goes only this way back up to the heart, and it can't go backwards. So there's like these little valves, and if it comes backwards, they pinch together, and it opens, it goes this way. They come back, bloop, pinches off. So that's why these come out in the tubes that were literally the veins of the guy. The arteries different. Arteries, they're in that red blood is very weak blood. Well, it's not weak blood, but it's soluble, much more soluble, and it doesn't harden up in chunks like the vein blood does. Now here's from a different cut of marble of granite somewhere else, but it's exactly the same thing. This is. Nothing particulates in that homogeneous manner like that. Nothing does, other than something that's ground up. All right, now this is how they ground people up. That's people in here. They're killing these people and grinding them up under these crushing wheels, and then they're using that to build things, and it is going to turn into granite. That's what happened. Now, you think, oh, that can't be. Well, it is. That's exactly what happened. They ground them up, and look, they're like crocodile faces or hippopotamus, whatever they are. And then they had apparently the gods that were ruling over them, watching them grind people up. That's what I'm seeing. All right, this is from a paper I did a few years ago. It says they process rock for gold and metal and all that stuff. Now, it goes down here and it talks about how the basalt in these Olmec heads and so forth. Those Olmec heads were not carved; they were molded, and they were made from the same sort of stuff I just showed you, granite type stuff. They call it basalt. Well, it's not basalt. Basalt is this. Basalt is a dark-colored, fine-grained, igneous rock composed mainly of plagioclase and pyroxene minerals. You have to look those up to see what they are, but that's what they're made of. It's most commonly forms an extrusive rock, such as a lava flow, but can also form in small intrusive bodies, such as an igneous dike or thin sill. This is what they're saying basalt is. Basalt is commonly very fine grained. It's so fine you can't see the grain. It is, I was going to put something in here, nearly impossible to see individual minerals without magnification. You just saw what I showed you with the granite. What is granite? Totally the opposite. The individual chunks are ground up. Granite is supposed to be an intrusive, not supposed to be where it is found. That's what intrusive means. And it results in a coarse, textured rock in which individual mineral grains are easily visible. Granules, granite, granulites. The grains are quite large compared to basalt crystals. Basalt is from lava. I'll go along with that, but this is not. The granules are very well mixed and quite uniform and do not contain metals to any normal degree. Rock does not come in this processed form. It does not. Granite is not natural. The granite I'm talking about, homogeneous granite. These granite intrusions, not supposed to be where they're found, having no metals in them, are often located next to, listen to this word, orogenic mineral systems. Well, what is that? They contain all metals in high proportions. Those are organs and so forth. So next to the hearts and livers and kidneys and lungs, hearts and lungs specifically have all the metals and a lot of blood and so forth in them. So it goes down here. Worldwide average of the chemical composition of granite by weight, based on 2,485 analysis. They're all the elements in granite. There's no precious metals. None. I mean, there's aluminum, there's sodium, calcium, iron. That's all the junk metals. There's no precious metals in granite. None. What are orogenic mineral systems and zones? Orogenic mineral system unites a diverse group of mineral deposits that form during orogenesis. Orogenesis is a person dying. And it includes lode gold, which is the chunks of gold, not placer gold. Placer gold is the little bitty pieces they find running down the rivers. And this is lode gold. This is chunks of gold. And cobalt type, CuAu, zinc, all these different metals in deposits. The conclusion is the platinum group electrum. They used to call it electrum in the ancient days, and which is all these platinum groups, and that's what they wanted to take out. That's what they were looking for. The electrum and precious metals, this is the only thing missing from this homogeneous granite. So just use your own common sense. My research indicates granite intrusions are likely tailings from metal processing, the spoils left over after they take everything they wanted out. All metals in granite are gone. They're gone. There are the exact same metals removed in gold processing, leaching, and washing processes. That's what they do to extract. Construction material was the end result, and that's what they used to make all these things. That they chipped it all day long. No, they didn't. That stuff was all wet originally. Some of it they ground up and just stashed in place, and those are the pillars and all these carvings. They say all the hieroglyphs and everything. That's not carved. They're pushed right in there, like very simple molded. I mean, not simple. There's still a lot of artwork done, but they made molds, and then they had different hieroglyphic templates, and they just plus it into it. And then they go to another one, do the same thing. Once you make the molds, you're good to go. And I bet you if you looked at them, a lot of them, they're probably going to be able to say, this particular cartouche and this one over here down the block are made from the same thing because there's a nick here and there's a nick there. That's what I bet you they'd find if they looked around real careful. They weren't chiseled all day long with copper chisels. The whole thing is crazy. Even the blocks in the pyramid, I've looked at those extremely carefully. They are not chiseled out of anywhere. Some of them are, but not a lot of them. Very few. They're mostly the same stuff. They're tendonous material ground up or in blocks. Some of that stuff did come in blocks because that's the nature of it. It comes in these straight tendonous blocks. And if you can get them that way, that's fine. You don't have to do anything. But if you can't, you just grind them up and then you fuse them with the fuser, which is just nothing more than the chemicals that are in the human body. They'll end up, as soon as they dry out, they turn into minerals. That's what happens. You got to get rid of the volatile stuff, which that's what happened in the flood. The saltwater flood got rid of all the organic gases and so forth. Instead of exploding the body out on the street somewhere, it gassed off, it bubbled off into the water. It went into solution instead of explosion. So what was left was minerals and metals and all the things that's in your body except for these gases and these explosive volatile things. There's, listen to this, I'm serious, these are real words. Cadaverine, that's one of the chemistries that and there's oh boy, it's cadaverine and putrescine. Cadaverine and putrescine are a couple of chemicals that are the things that decompose bodies as they fester, and they cannot exchange their gases and things anymore, which you do in carboxylation. Carboxylation is you breathe. I'm not going to get too deep in it. You breathe, you just blow all this stuff out. Well, you can't blow it out anymore, so it blows you out. Now, what happens? Your body, your anus can really go inside out, blow out. All kinds of organs blow out. Blood actually blows right out through your fingers. I have them here with blood bubbled out of the finger, collected, and it turns into garnets. Hold on. Okay, my friends, I might have run a little long on that one. I'm not sure, but come on up to Mudfossil University and just pick and choose. I mean, there is a ton. I think there's like 900 videos or something. I mean, there's a lot. And there's a lot recently on the atomic model, which is the electron-flooded nuclear core. Totally different. We're showing all kinds of new light research. I mean, there's a lot to see, all right? I don't want to run it too long. All right, thank you.